guys, so welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing us how to take an accurate body measurement, and for this practice I'm going to be demonstrating with the dress form. So this actually serves as my human body. So first thing you should know when taking a measurement is it's actually very wrong to stand face to face with your client when taking a measurement. For some clients it makes them so uncomfortable, so it's always better you stand by the side while taking the measurement. So for the measurement proper, we'll first of all take our vertical measurement. The vertical measurement includes from your shoulder to your bust, your shoulder to your under bust, your shoulder to your waist, to your hip, your knee, and your full length. So those are your vertical measurements. So another point to notice, for your half length, the front half length and the back half length is quite different, in the sense that at the front we have a protruding bust. So it actually makes our front half length longer than the back. So to get your front half length, as a guide, it's always good to actually use a rope in case you find it difficult getting the tiniest part of your waist. For your your half length is actually the tiniest part of your waist above your navel. So what I normally do is, with a rope, I'll tie this alongside my client's half length. This is actually very good for those clients that has tummy and you actually find it difficult to get what's the actual half length. So the best thing is to use this rope, tie it to the tiniest part of their waist. This is the half length. Now for the measurement, while taking your measurement, it should come from the shoulder. This is the highest point of your shoulder. Because the shoulder is not straight, it's quite slanted. So it's actually going to be very wrong to start taking your measurement here. It will actually give you a wrong measurement. So you take it from the highest point of your shoulder. So for this dress form, from our shoulder to our half length is 16 inches for the front half length. While for the back, from the shoulder to the half length at the back is 15 inches. This is 15 inches. So you see that the difference between the front half length and the back half length for our dress form is just 1. Meanwhile, for your clients, it can actually differ. For some clients, depending on how busty they are, you can get a difference of 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, depending on how busty the client is. So the next measurement to take is your shoulder to your bust. From the shoulder to your bust, you place your tape at the highest point of your shoulder as well, to your nipple point. Your nipple point is your bust point. It is the fullest part of your bust. So from your shoulder to your nipple is your bust point. After that, you take your under bust measurement. After this under bust measurement, to continue taking your measurement, you have to pin this under bust down. You pin it down, then go ahead to continue your measurement. So you get your under bust, your shoulder to your hip, your shoulder to your knee, then your shoulder to your full length. Now, when taking your shoulder to your hip, you should know that your hip line is the fullest part of your hip. That sharp edge we have on our hip is the fullest part. Just like the bust point, the fullest part is our nipple. That is the fullest part of our bust. So from your shoulder to your nipple is your bust point, your shoulder to your half length, where we actually have this tape, your shoulder to the fullest part of your hip. That is your shoulder to your hip. Then your shoulder to your knee. For some people, they actually do their shoulder to their knee exactly at the knee, or you can come up 1 or 2 inches above your knee to get your shoulder to your knee. Then you get your client's full length. Then after that is settled, we go ahead and take the horizontal measurement. Now for your horizontal measurement, you go ahead and take your shoulder measurement, and this is how to take the shoulder measurement. You can see the shoulder measurement is actually taken from this point to this point. This is your shoulder. From this point to this point is your shoulder. So you take it this way from one point to the other point. This is your shoulder measurement. Then after that, you actually take your front width measurement and your back width measurement. So for our back width, we have 13 inches. While taking this measurement, please ensure you don't go under your armhole, just from one end to the other end. This is your back width measurement. Then you do the same for the front. This is your front width measurement. Then after that, you go ahead and take your bust measurement. While taking your bust measurement, ensure that your client is putting on a firm underwear, because most times when they come for measurements, They actually put on a very weak and slacky innerwear. Then after you're done making your dress and they come for fitting, they're putting on a firmer innerwear, and you find out that the cloth might be too tight around the bust area. So while taking this measurement, ensure that they're wearing a firm innerwear. So this is how to take your bust measurement. You make sure your tape is firm. You shouldn't be too loose nor too tight. Just make it firm. Then after that, you take your under bust measurement. Your under bust measurement is actually taken below your bust area. This is your under bust. You take your under bust measurement there. Then you take your waist measurement as well, make it firm. You take your hip measurement. Like I said earlier, your hip is the fullest part of your hip. So whatever you're measuring, it should be around the fullest part of your hip. Same thing goes with the bust. Then if your client has bigger tummy, or if your client has a big tummy, then you actually have to take the tummy measurement. But if your client doesn't have a big tummy, your waist measurement is actually perfect. Then after that, the next measurement to take is your armhole measurement. Round your arm. You can just put your tape round and take your armhole measurement. This is round your armhole. This is your armhole measurement. You take round your arm. Then the next measurement to take is your bicep measurement. Your bicep is the largest part of your arm. That is what is called a bicep. So you put your tape round your biceps, and whatever you got, you put it down. This is your biceps. Then you take your elbow measurement, you take your wrist measurement. Now for your full sleeve, while taking the sleeve measurement, this is how I actually take my sleeve measurement. I ask the client to keep their hand this way. Then I measure from this point to this point, from this point to your wrist. So your tape goes this way. So I'm doing this on myself. Your tape goes from here to here. I have 12 inches. Then for my 12 inches to my wrist, I have 23 inches. So just do it the way that works for you. Okay. Another measurement to take, don't forget, is your neckline measurement. So the neckline, this is how to take your neck measurement from this point of the neck here, from here to here. You put your tape this way, then over. This is your neck measurement. So when you take this measurement, this is your neck width, then you take the depth. Now for some clients, remember while taking the depth, your tape shouldn't be straight. It has to be slanted this way. You slant your tape. So if your client actually wants the neck depth to be 3, this is where it falls. If it's 4, 5, 6, just as desired. So that is all about this measurement. In the next class, I'm going to be showing us how to take a proper measurement for your trousers or shorts. When you're making your shorts, there's actually how to take your crotch measurement, your knee measurements, your ankle measurements. So that will be all for this class, and I hope you got value. Thank you.